So I was honestly not expecting any significant reveals for the coming weeks as soon as we are in collab season. But apparently Bushi had different plans because we've got some major updates regarding new upcoming products that we have to talk about. Let's get into it.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and this will probably be a short one, as you probably have noticed by the timestamp on this video, because even though there's something very important that we need to discuss, or I should say 2.5 things that's important that we need to discuss, these aren't new card reveals and they're mainly just product generic information, so that means there's not a lot to go by. So with any further ado, let's go into the new news about the upcoming products that we're gonna have in the upcoming months and going into next year, because we have seen the future beyond set 8. But before we get into that future, let's first go to set 8 and see something new that we now just learned about the set. So set 8, as we already know, is going to contain support for the cross-cray epic ride lines, with probably, or at least hopefully, the inclusion of the promos that are being released, but maybe not, but at least more support for their respective ride lines. But on top of that, we also are going to get 3 new encounter ride lines with the introduction or the return of Luquier, Minerva, as well as Maelstrom. This is what we already knew, and this is what we anticipated because of the fact that this is a mid-season set, a lore set, as you would call it, that's gonna have like encounter ride line support as well as cross-cray epic ride line support. But on top of that, they now also revealed that this set will contain HoloLive cards. Yes, I kid you not, HoloLive will come to the physical card game of Cardfight Vanguard. So some of you might already know, HoloLive, especially these 2 units that you see on this image, already exist in Vanguard 0, the digital version of Vanguard, or at least the pseudo-digital version of Vanguard. And now they will also introduce in the physical card game. Now the interesting thing, or the unique thing here, is that they confirmed that they will contain 5 cards for the HoloLive cards. And then one of those cards will also get an SP treatment. Now, they didn't specify anything beyond that, or at least not that I am aware of, because I cannot read Japanese, so there might be some information that I'm not going to speculate that's already been confirmed so far. This most likely will be in the set, because they already explained it's going to be 5 cards and 1 SP, so it's less likely this is going to be a box topper of some sort, or maybe like a box toppers pack that will contain these 5 cards so you have a chance to get an SP. They could do that, but I don't think that's going to be the case. It's probably going to take up slots of the main set. And this is where we get into a sticky situation, because I don't know if that's a very smart move to do, because it will take up slots that could have used or been used for the new ride lines or the support for the cross-cray epic stuff, because this set alone will already contain quite a lot. I don't know how much space they have to also just say, well, just take up these 5 slots from this set and we're gonna see moving forward. Now, of course, if they are deciding to just remove any pack filler, or at least limit the amount of pack filler that we've seen so far, like just get rid of like generic vanilla triggers or a bunch of vanilla 15k beaters that doesn't really do anything, and just get these 5 cards in there, that will probably not matter all too much. Now, the second thing that's a bit weird here is that this isn't a collab set or a collab clan as it looks like, because it's just 5 cards. And I don't think it's gonna be like lyrical monastery support. Maybe they could go that direction. But then the question leaves, what are these 5 cards going to be? Because you cannot build a deck around it. It's just pure promotional stuff. But that's not something Bushi has done before, especially with cards in the main set, if it's not like a box topper. So I can see them doing 2 things. Either these HoloLive cards are going to be lyrical monasterio cards in disguise, essentially. Or they could make these 5 cards be a ride line, so you have a grade 1, grade 2, a grade 3, and then you have 2 generic support cards, or they can say you have a grade 0 and then a dedicated support card for this ride line that works, and make them Cray Elementals, so they can work in every single nation, so you can change up the strategy or the support around it, depending on if you put it in Dragon Empire, in Stoichea, or in Brandgate, etc, etc. You make the mechanic as generic as possible so you can use them in any nation, and maybe have a specific skill that interacts differently depending on what nation you're playing it in. Maybe do that direction. I don't know what they could do, but that's also a possibility. They can go that route to make them at least more versatile and make more sense of it just being 5 cards. We have to just wait to see what they're gonna do, because it's all just pure speculation from this point onwards. Moving on from set 8, what we know is going to become after that is, of course, set 9. But now we know what set 9 is going to some extent, contain. Because this is the first time, at least from what I remember, we're gonna have a set with the Bucks topper unit, or the Bucks art unit of the set, not being a Verena, not being a Nirvana, also not being a Crosshair Epic, because there's a Crosshair Epic set, but that doesn't count as a main set booster, because it's Bruce! Yes, we're gonna get a brand new Bruce in set 9. And this is all we know for set 9. So, what can we speculate? Basically, what will this Bruce be? Will it be a grade 4? Will it be a grade 5? Or will it be a new grade 3? My bet is it's probably going to be a new grade 3. It's going to be in line with the new Nirvana Mahar, or Mahar Nirvana, as I can see them introducing new versions of the main grade 3 from the original 5 in the subsequent sets after this. So in this set it's going to be Bruce. In the next set we're maybe going to get a new Bastion. After that, either a new Snow or a new Magnolia. I can see them doing that pattern. But then the question arises, what is this Bruce going to do? It could easily be just generic Final Rush support and do something with that keyword. But if we go the same direction as Mahar Nirvana, this could go a direction where it's some similar support of what the original archetype did, but different enough that it goes into a different direction. And what I mean with this is that we see Nirvana having the overdress cards, and Mahar Nirvana has the crossover dress cards. But we do have the generic support that works with original dress effects. So that's the gateway between the two archetypes, where they both have original dress on the crossover dress and the overdress cards, so those cards interact, but we have specific overdress cards and specific crossover dress support. This could be the same way with Bruce, but then with Final Rush, because we do see cards that specifically say Final Rush but don't specify Bruce, and we have cards that specify Bruce but do not specify Final Rush. So this Bruce could go in a different direction where it doesn't have Final Rush, but maybe it has Final Crush or True Final Rush, or I don't know, something in the same vein that synergizes similarly, but because it has a different name, it goes in a different direction, thus activating different skills. But it can still use cards that don't interact with Final Rush, but specifically look for you to have a Bruce Vanguard. So that's the direction they could take, but it's all just pure speculation from this point onward. So curious what you guys think this Bruce is going to do, as you can go many different directions. As we already seen Restanding, maybe this is going to be a bit different. And now for the final big reveal. Because we thought we only going to get one. But apparently it didn't take long to get a second. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce the Messiah Stride deck set. Yes, Messiah returns, but more importantly, the Stride deck set product returns, and very soon after Chronojet. Now, we don't know what this product is going to be. We know it's somewhat in line with what we've seen with Chronojet because it has the same name, but besides that, we don't know. Yes, we can assume maybe it's gonna be similar like Chronojet. It's gonna have a stride mechanic. It maybe will get a crest so it can activate or attain the stride mechanic and other stuff. That's very likely that's gonna be the case. And on top of that, this one most likely will interact with locking and whatnot and multi-attacking, as Messiah has always been that, even the V counterpart of Messiah, because that's also the card that introduced lock back into V. So it's an interesting take, and I'm very curious of what this is going to do. Now, for anybody that's probably going the direction with, wait, didn't they say they're only going to do strides for Chronojet, and Chronojet is going to be the only one that's going to have this mechanic? Well, depending on how they frame this, because of course it's all being translated and not directly being said from the Japanese side, so we probably don't know what they exactly said. unless you know how to read and listen and speak Japanese, of course. But from what I've seen in the past, they said only Chrono Jet can use the strides. And they were telling the truth, because at the point they said that, that was the case. They, from what I remember, never said that no other card, never ever in the future of the format, is going to be able to use the stride. They, from my perspective, never said that. So that already for me opened up Pandora's box that we will get future stride deck sets for other G-era archetypes that also revolve around strides. And if we're gonna be honest, I think Messiah is probably the best second product in this line, because Messiah was the very first stride card that was introduced. It's not the actual Messiah archetype from Link Joker, but it's the Cray Elemental Messiah that was introduced at the end of the Vanguard movie. Yes, there was a Vanguard movie for anybody that is too young to know that, where they introduced the stride mechanic when it was a Legion focused theater movie. So yeah, we got Messiah back, and we got more stride deck sets, which probably will have some implication in premium, but we don't know how this will impact and how we'll interact. And we already see the buyouts of the Messiah G version of what we see with Chrono Jet, but I'm gonna laugh my ass off if this is gonna be completely different, has nothing to do with it, and a lot of people just wasted a lot of money, because buyouts and hype are a thing. But that said, that's basically all we know from the new products. Let me know in the comments section down below what you guys think of what these products are going to entice and what they're gonna probably mean, what type of cards we're gonna have, because what direction do you think the Messiah's deck set is gonna go? What do you think the new Bruce is going to do? Do you think it's a grade 3? Do you think it's a grade 4? Or are you one of those few that think it's a grade 5? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, this video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, you can simply go to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I've been Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one!